We're just going to look through a portfolio, or a trading portfolio I should say, that I've put together myself in an Excel spreadsheet. But just want to obviously push the vital importance of having one and how they can be useful, and obviously show you the potential setup of one that I use. This one I have, as I mentioned, built myself in an Excel spreadsheet, although there are some very generic ones you can purchase, some software you can purchase pretty cheap that does all this for you. So building this might be a little bit above and beyond your technological capabilities, but in this case I have built this one myself. Again, you can get some very cheap ones. Some platforms even have ones that are specifically built around that platform that link in. Very, very rare, but there are the odd ones here and there. So just to kick it off, this is my trading diary, or my trading diary template. As you can see, I normally kick off the very top part with the morning comments, so I come in before the market opens to map out the day's work. I've just made a very basic comment here. I might have just checked what's happened internationally. Say the Dow Jones closed up 100 points and therefore the SPY futures were pointing at a 3% jump for the Australian market. So just little bits and pieces. You might mention what gold and oil's doing, Asia, Europe, just depending on what stocks you're focusing on trading on, or what positions you're focusing on trading on. My beginning capital, or the capital to begin with, I've just put 10,000 there, obviously quite generic. Now in this case, we're going to begin with our open position. So let's say we rode the day. This is obviously all just hypothetical, just to show you how it works. We're going to say we came into the day with 3 positions, one in BHP, one in CBA, one in NAB. You can list all your open positions here. The quantities, I'll put in 100 there. I then put in my average cost per share, which then will work out my full cost, so I've got a total exposure that I can monitor. My margins, you can vary these margins depending on the margin of the stock itself. So therefore my total margin requirement, etc. Just a bit of a snapshot of what I'm coming into the day with. Now we move down to proposed trades. Here is where, if I had done some research either the evening before or this morning on what trades I was potentially going to look at today, based on some scanning software I've used that have identified some upcoming potential moves in the market for me. In this case, let's say it was a BHP breakout trade. Here's where you'd enter all the details of the position you were considering taking, and then your reason at the end. There is a fair bit of information there, but just your basics, whether you're opening or closing your position, whether you're going long or short, obviously your entry price that you want to enter at, your stop price, the current share price, so the lot size that you want to take, what you want to close, your profit targets, just all the details for you, so that at the end of the day you can monitor that. That will then also help for margin for trading and so forth, work out what margins you'll have available for proposed trades, which is very, very handy. Now, executed trades. So in this instance, I wanted to close out, let's say, the 3 positions we came into the day with, which was the BHP, the CBA, and the NAB. In this case, we're closing all 3 trades. Again, just details so you know for your records what's happening. We've got obviously all sells here because we were long. Quantities that we were selling, the price we were selling them at, the new consideration, brokerage for each. It'll just work out for us, therefore, what our profitability for those trades were. In this case, we made 500 on BHP, we made 600 on CBA, but we lost 500 on NAB. At the end of the day, we can then also add the open positions we've got. So if we'd entered another trade throughout the day, or we hadn't closed some of those other trades out, we'd then leave here the open positions we've got that we're going to ride overnight. This will also help us calculate our financing charges and so forth, which comes under adjustments and interest charges, etc. just there. So this gives us a trading snapshot for the day. Sorry, I should have mentioned at the start, as you can see, we do have the days of the week here. So when I'm testing a new trading strategy, will have my days trading each day for the week, and I'll have usually a trading diary for each individual strategy. The reason being is so we can test out the profitability and I suppose the viability of this trading strategy that I might be testing. So we'll come over here. Today we've had 2 wins, 1 loss, as we saw previously. The BHP and CBA were winners. The NAB, unfortunately, was a loser. Our average profit was 550. Our average loss was 500. Total profit for the day, $600, which was a 6% increase in capital. Brokerage of 30. So therefore we can see our closing trading capital is up 570 down here. Now the reason being for all of this, obviously people do have targets they want to hit with their trading, and this is a great way to measure that up against what your expectations were to see whether you carry on with a strategy or not. Now as we go from day to day and we continue to add our stats and so forth, what we then do is we can come back to our summary page. Now our summary page just has some basic details for us and will sum up the week. Do pardon the dates on the left there. This defaults to when I built this spreadsheet a couple of years ago, just shy on a couple of years ago. You can obviously change that as you go. Now, as we can see here, the first line is this first week for us. So we've got 2 wins, 1 loss, giving us a win-loss ratio. These are the kind of stats you need to know to see whether, again, as I mentioned, it's going to be a viable strategy to continue with or to continue to refine. Our average profit was 550. Our average loss was 500. Keeping in mind, we obviously had 2 wins to that 1 loss. So our win-loss ratio is very good at the moment. Therefore, our profit to loss ratio is 1.1. Leaving us with a profitability figure of 1.82. So the better that figure, the better you're traveling. You obviously don't want that to hit a negative, otherwise we're going to be losing cash. Over here, some really good stats just to keep an eye on. So our daily percentage for this day, and you'll see for each day as you enter your stats, 6% is obviously pretty good on any day of the week. Profit for the day, some people have a cash target rather than a percentage target. So we can see we made $600 today, so you can see, or we'll test whether that's in line again with what you were trying to achieve. We're up obviously 570 because we've taken out our commissions, giving us again the capital increase of 5.39%. So if you could do that every day, you'd be very, very happy. Down here, we'll sum up the whole week for you, which will be quite handy. So again, this is just a very basic example of a trading portfolio, but it's not just to pick out what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, I should say initially, but it's also to pick out what you're doing right, so you can replicate the things you are doing right and eliminate the things you're doing wrong. So in this case, if your average loss, which I found previously was some of my issues I've had, my average losses were always far greater than my average profit, even though my win-loss ratio was very, very good, because that therefore left my profitability actually down. So you really need to focus on these and then adjust stop losses or adjust strategies, maybe trading products, to suit what it is that you're expecting to receive from your trading.